Hi Year 6, it's Thursday 14th of January, so let's jump straight in and get on with our big read. Slightly different big read today. We've done a lot of questions around retrieval, we did some questions around vocabulary, we did some questions around inference. Today we are looking at vocabulary again, but this time rather than answering questions about them, we're going to check that we have a really comprehensive understanding of the vocabulary from the text. Now, a comprehensive understanding, that means a really sort of thorough, all-consuming, not missing things out, understanding, making sure that we've got a really full understanding of the vocabulary. And what I'll be looking for is that you're identifying the words that you're unsure of, that you're thinking about the ways that words relate to one another, and that you're then able to connect those words based on their meanings. So, we are looking still at the same chapter, and what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to pause the video on this page and have the copy of the text in front of you. I'd then like you to go through pages 31 and 32, and I'd like you to highlight any words that you are uncertain of the words and what they mean. Now, I want to be really clear here, because we've done this in class. Cyprus, you'll know this. Miss Barrett's class as well. Banyan, you will have done similar things. I know that one of the things that normally happens is children don't actually highlight that many words because they think, oh, well, I've definitely heard that word. I don't need to highlight it. I need you to highlight any word where any of your teachers could turn to you and say, what does that word mean? And if you couldn't give us a clear answer of what the word means, you should be highlighting it. Okay? It's not just words you've never heard. It's words that you couldn't really confidently give a definition of. So pause the video. And then when you've paused that video, go through with a highlighter or with your pen and underline it. It doesn't matter what you do, but I need you to then identify any words that you are even the littlest bit unfamiliar with. Okay, start the video again once you've done that. Fantastic. Hopefully you've done that now. So the words that I sort of identified from these 2 pages as ones that potentially you might not be 100% confident when you're giving a definition of were miracle, supper, observing, loans, hassle. I think that might be it. Yeah, let me just go back. So miracle, supper, observing, loans, and hassle. They were the ones that I sort of identified as ones you might not be 100% certain with. You may have got different ones. You might not have got all of those. You might have got some other ones in there. Doesn't matter which ones you've got, though, for the sake of today's activity. Okay. You're then going to do exactly the same thing for pages 33 and 34, going through, identifying any words you're unfamiliar with, writing those down or highlighting them. If you can pause the video here, do that, and then start the video up again, please. Fantastic. So, the words I got: accordance, obligation, repossessed, waffled, constellations, and notion. So they were the ones that I identified, thinking that potentially there were some on there that I might not be that familiar with. Certainly accordance, I was going to struggle to sort of explain exactly what that means. Notion's not a word you hear a lot really anymore. Repossessed is very specific to a certain area of language. So they're the ones I identified. You will have identified some slightly different ones. You might not have got all of those. If any of those are ones you didn't note down, but looking at them now, you think, oh, actually, yeah, I'm not 100% sure on those, then you can add those to your list. Okay. And then finally, and there's not many on this page, pause the video, look at the final page of this chapter, and write down any words you're unsure of. And then you can start the video up again, and I'll show you the couple that I chose from this page. Okay, like I say, not many here. The only one really I got was peered. I think the rest of them you'll be fairly familiar with. Okay, when that's all done, what you're going to do is you're going to take any 9, you can do it with 9, or you can do it with 16, but you need it to be an even square. So it either needs to be a 3 by 3, like mine there, which is why I've got 9, or a 4 by 4. I didn't do a 4 by 4 because I only actually had 15 words, so I couldn't fill a 4 by 4. but you need it to be a perfect square. You're then going to write in 9 or 16 of your words, any of the words at all. And what I'd like you to do is I'd then like you to try and pair or group some of your words, and you can group them in any way that you'd like. So an example, I've grouped peered and observing. I've then grouped hassle and obligation. I'd like you to have a think. If you're at home, just have a think. If you're in school, you can have a chat. What do you think the category is that I've grouped observing and peered into? And then what do you think the group is, the category that I've grouped hassle and obligation into? Have a chat. If you're at home, have a think. Maybe write down what you think, and you can send me a picture when you're sending in your work, and I'll see if you've managed to predict it and work it out. Okay, pause the video, have a think, have a chat, then start it up, and I'll tell you exactly why I put those in a group. Okay, peered and observing, I put in that both of those words are to do with sight. Peering is to do with looking at things. Observing is to do with looking at things. So they're both, the definition of both of those words is because they're both to do with sight. Hassle and obligation, I put those together because in the story, they're both to do with the letter that Elliot received. So that's how I linked them. Obviously, you can then go through and link things in other ways, but there always needs to be at least 2 in your category, which obviously with the 9 words means there's going to have to be some that are a 3. Okay, another way I could have done it, I could have grouped peered and waffled. And if I did that, it would be because they're both past tense verbs. So you can group words however you want, but to be able to group them and to put them in categories, you will need to have a good understanding of exactly what those words mean. Okay, well done for everything. Look forward to seeing your different ways of grouping these words. This is a really interesting one, this, because I get lots and lots of different ideas of how to group these words. So I'm looking forward to seeing some of your ideas and some of your different views on how to group these words. For now, though, that's everything from me. I'll be back with you for your English lesson. But for now, goodbye.